Have you ever felt like nature was trying to tell you something? A whisper in the wind, a rustle of leaves, a certain slant of light through the canopy? Well, today, I want to tell you a story about a boy named Lion, who didn't just feel it, he heard it. A lion lived on the edge of a vast, ancient forest, a place the villagers called the Whispering Woods. They said the trees held secrets, memories of times long past. But for most people, those secrets remained locked away. Not for a lion. From a very young age, he was different. It was like learning a new language. The rustling leaves of the birch trees became a light, cheerful chatter, telling tales of the sun and the sky. The deep, creaking groans of the ancient pines were stories of winter storms and the weight of snow, filled with a solemn wisdom. The willows by the creek murmured about the flow of water and the secrets it carried from the mountains. A lion learned to distinguish their voices. The proud, strong voice of the mighty oak that stood as the forest's guardian. The playful, gossipy whispers of the aspen grove. The somber, ancient drone of the yew tree that had seen centuries pass. He learned their moods, too. He could sense their joy after a refreshing rain, their fear when the woodcutter's axe echoed through the woods, and their deep, slow sadness when one of their own fell to disease or age. The villagers thought him strange. There goes the tree whisperer, they'd mutter as he passed, a mix of pity and suspicion in their voices. They didn't understand why he spent all his time in the woods, talking to what they saw as just timber and firewood. His only friend was a girl named Lyra, the baker's daughter, who didn't mock him. She was fascinated, even if she couldn't hear the voices herself. She'd bring him warm bread and sit with him, asking, "What are they saying today, a lion?" And the lion would translate. "The sycamore is worried," he'd say. "A blight is creeping up its roots from the damp soil." Or, "The cherry blossoms are excited. They feel spring coming and can't wait to bloom." Lyra would look from a lion's earnest face to the silent trees, a sense of wonder growing in her heart. One year, the summer was unusually long and hot. The sun beat down relentlessly, and not a single drop of rain fell for weeks. The village well grew shallow, the crops in the fields withered, and a shadow of worry fell over everyone. The creek that flowed from the forest dwindled to a muddy trickle. The elders shook their heads, recalling old tales of a great drought that had nearly wiped out the village generations ago. The forest, too, was suffering. A lion could feel its pain. The cheerful chatter of the birches had turned into a dry, rasping plea for water. The mighty oak's voice was strained, its usual strength replaced by a deep, weary ache. The entire wood seemed to be holding its breath, a collective gasp of thirst. One afternoon, as a lion sat beneath the suffering oak, a new voice broke through the chorus of pain. It was a voice he had never heard before, faint but clear, coming from the very heart of the forest. It wasn't a single tree. It was something else, something older. It was the voice of the forest itself. The voice was a tapestry woven from every leaf, root, and branch. It spoke of a hidden spring, a place deep within the woods where water still flowed, protected by a circle of ancient stones. It was the forest's last resort, a secret it had kept for centuries. The voice guided a lion, showing him a path not with directions, but with feelings that pulled towards a certain direction, a sense of warmth from one trail, and a feeling of coldness from another. Filled with a desperate hope, a lion ran back to the village. He burst into the square, his face flushed and his eyes wide. "I know where to find water," he shouted. "The forest told me." The villagers just stared. Some scoffed, others shook their heads in pity. "The poor boy's been out in the sun too long," one man said. The village elder, a stern man named Borin, stepped forward. "A lion, this is no time for fantasies. People are suffering. Don't give them false hope." "It's not false," a lion insisted. his voice trembling. "I can lead you there. Please, you have to believe me." Just as the crowd was about to dismiss him completely, Lyra stepped forward. "I believe him," she said, her voice clear and steady. She turned to the villagers. "When has a lion ever lied? He knows the forest better than any of us. What do we have to lose by trying?" Her words, and the trust in her eyes, planted a seed of doubt in the villagers' skepticism. A few of the younger ones, desperate for any solution, agreed to go. Slowly, reluctantly, a small group, including the elder Boren, decided to follow a lion into the parched woods. A lion closed his eyes and listened, letting the forest's voice guide him. He led them away from the familiar paths, deeper into the woods than most of them had ever been. For hours they walked, the silence broken only by the crackle of dry leaves underfoot. Doubt began to creep back into the group. "This is madness," Boren grumbled. "He's leading us to our doom." Just as their hope was about to fade, a lion stopped. They had arrived in a small, circular clearing, surrounded by a ring of moss-covered, ancient stones. The air here was cooler, and the ground felt slightly damp. In the center of the clearing, hidden beneath a tangle of ferns and roots, was a small opening in the earth, and from it, they could hear the faint, magical sound of trickling water. With a collective gasp, the villagers rushed forward. They cleared the ferns and found it a small, clear spring, bubbling up from the ground, cool and pure. It wasn't a river, but it was enough. It was life. They drank, they filled their water skins, and they looked at a lion with a newfound respect. Their eyes filled with awe and gratitude. Boren, the stern elder, walked over to a lion and placed a heavy hand on his shoulder. "Your gift," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "It is not a strangeness. It is a blessing. You saved us." From that day on, everything changed. A lion was no longer the strange tree whisperer. He was the hero of the village, their connection to the living world around them. The villagers learned to listen, not with their ears, but with their hearts. They started to see the forest not as a resource to be taken, but as a living neighbor to be respected. Guided by a lion and the wisdom of the trees, they learned about sustainable forestry, about which trees were old and needed to rest, and which young ones needed more sunlight to grow. They learned to identify healing herbs from the whispers of the plants themselves. The village in the forest began to live in harmony, a partnership built on listening. A lion never lost his ability. He spent his life as a bridge between the two worlds, a translator of the silent language of nature. He taught the children to press their ears to the bark of trees, not just to hear, but to feel the slow, steady heartbeat of the world. The story of the boy who listened to trees became a legend, a reminder that wisdom can be found in the most unexpected places, and that if we just take a moment to be still and truly listen, we might find that the world has so much to tell us. It teaches us that the greatest connections we can make are not always with other people, but with the silent, breathing life that surrounds us all. So next time you're in a park or a forest, maybe take a moment, lean against a tree, close your eyes, and just listen. You might be surprised at what you hear. Thanks so much for watching and sharing this story with me today. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and subscribe for more tales that explore the magic of our world. Until next time, stay curious.